So gig stories, so many, but one or two stand out. I'm going to start with the one that was most unbelievable because I, thank God, took a picture of this because people don't believe me when I tell them this. So I was working at a riverside bar called Grills in Melbourne, Florida. And it's an outside place and it's really popular and it gets busy, especially on Saturday afternoons. So I was doing a 1 to 5 p.m. afternoon gig, background music mainly, but you never know. On a Saturday, sometimes it turns into a party. But this is in summertime, so I'm thinking it's about 100 degrees outside. But there's always a nice wind that comes off the river, so everyone's really chilled out. Halfway through the gig, a friend of mine, slash fan of mine, who showed up periodically throughout the last 10 years, would always come by with her husband and they'd dance, and it was great, and they were really good dancers, and they were older than me, maybe 10 or 15 years older, maybe 20, whatever, but they're definitely 60s people, and so now they're in their 70s or so, but they're full of life and very friendly. So I used to sit down, or on my breaks I go over and say hi, and she knows I love animals. And I asked her if she had an animal one day, and she said, yeah, I have a Maine Coon cat. And I went, okay. I go, what's that mean? She goes, it's huge. I go, huge? Yeah, it's as big as a bobcat. And then I looked at her husband, and his name's Mike, and he's just shaking his head. He's like, yeah, I deal with this thing. You won't believe how much it eats. And I'm like, really? I've never heard of that. So that night I got home, went on the computer, Maine Coon. Oh my God, these things are as big as bobcats, and people actually have them in their house. It's like the size of a Labrador dog or a golden retriever, maybe a bit bigger, some of them. So anyways, next time I do a gig and I see her, she's got a picture of this thing, and it's massive, and it's scary looking. I mean, if I came home at night and I wasn't expecting the cat, or I forgot I had a Maine Coon cat, and that thing came up behind me, I would scream like a schoolgirl. So anyway, I'm not thinking anything about it, and a couple years go by, right? And they come in and out of my life, like fans do, and always great to see them. And then one day I'm at Grills, and it's 100 degrees out, and it's broad daylight, and she comes up to me, she goes, on my break, she goes, I've got Samson. I go, what? You brought a giant cat to Grills Riverside at 100 degrees? She goes, he passed away. I go, oh, that's horrible. I'm so sorry. You brought a dead cat? A giant dead cat to Grills Riverside on Saturday afternoon. She goes, I had him stuffed. I go, pardon? She goes, I stuffed Samson. And I go, like stuffed, like taxidermy stuffed? She goes, yeah, he's beautiful. I wanted you to see him. Now, meanwhile, it's sunny out. People are laughing and drinking. I've got the reggae playing in the background, and she's telling me that she has a giant stuffed Maine Coon cat in her car. And she wants me to go see it. I'm like, I can't believe this. So my friend DJ Jeff was there, and I go, you need to come see this. He's an English dude, super cool guy. And he goes, see what? I go, she wants me to see her stuffed pussy. And so he starts laughing his head off, right? He's like, that's wrong. I go, no, it's a cat. It's a cat. And he's like, oh, there's no way. I go, it's a Maine Coon cat. He goes, I know what those are. Those are huge. I go, come on. She's driving a Prius, okay? We know how big those cars are. We're walking up to the Prius, and the cat is in the passenger seat with a seatbelt on it, like it's a human. Right? And it's got this look on its face like she just ran every red light to get here. It's like this. And so I can barely talk now, but she's serious because she thinks, well, I am a caring person. I really am. But it was so hard for me to hold it together. She goes, this is Samson, and she tries to get it out, and she's like a tiny lady. She's less than 5 feet tall. She's 100 pounds soaking wet, and she's wrestling with this Maine Coon cat, and it's hitting its head off the windshield, and it's making a clanking noise, like clank, 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 and she gets the cat out of the car. And it's massive. It's half the size of her. And it's heavy, right? And she's like lifting it up, and she puts it on top of the Prius, and she goes clank, and it sitting on top of the car. People are walking into the place, going for lunch, and they're doing this. And then they're topping their friends. They're going, look, there's a giant cat. I think it's a bobcat on this lady's car. So anyways, it's kind of like you had to be there, but I did take a picture and I'd like to share it with you. So this is me and Samson.
Zoom in. Focus there.